Alright, here's the 411, folks. Just give him one of these.
Welcome to episode 24 of the 411, folks. My name is Scott, and I am here with Jake.
Hey, what's the thing?
We are back.
Okay.
And we are ready to talk games. Go ahead, Jake.
What's the theme music we use now? What's our opening music?
It's like the sort of Saudi Arabian, Middle Eastern theme with the Mo going, here's the 411, folks.
Oh, it is that? Okay, good.
Yeah, why?
I just forgot what it was. No, I just thought...
It's because you don't listen to the podcast.
No, I don't listen. No. Do you listen?
I used to, but no. I did an episode with Kian not long ago, and you haven't listened to that.
No. I'm a busy man.
Busy man.
Yeah.
Just put it on when you're driving to work.
I put other things on when I'm driving to work.
I solely listen to pods on my way to work.
Really? Your drive's not long at all, though.
It's a 20-minute drive to work, 20-minute drive home, so 40 minutes a day of pods.
Okay.
But it's really not enough. I don't know, like, because I'm subscribed to about 6 podcasts, right? And 40 minutes a day is just not enough because I've got about 8 in backlog right now. So every time I listen to a podcast, this has been happening for about 6 months now. I'm always 2 weeks behind in the news. So it's...
Yeah, you just gotta carve out time. I make sure I carve out. The way I get rid of most of my podcast backlog is playing a game I don't need to listen to.
Yeah.
So I just carve it. I just spend one whole night every single week knocking out 5 to 6 hours worth of podcast time.
And that's what I usually do. But the games I've been playing, I need to listen to the game.
Right.
So it's always annoying because I really love playing games where you can multitask. Like that's a really good night for me. But yeah, games where you have to sort of pay attention. If it's a really good game where you want to pay attention, then it's good. But
yeah, well, I guess we'll talk about it soon. But the games I'm playing, you can't do anything else.
Yeah,
you need to dedicate your entire focus to them. So,
well, let's talk about it. So pretty much this show might turn into us talking about what we've been playing.
Yeah, because we had a week off. So.
Yeah, we had a week off and we've been playing a lot of games.
Actually, I want to say something very quickly.
Okay.
Do you on my drive here?
Yeah.
Do you know that terrible song by Macklemore, Downtown? You probably would have heard it.
I would have heard it.
It's terrible, terrible song.
Yeah, but songs that are terrible to you aren't really terrible to me.
Yeah, but this is a new kind of bad. Anyway, I realized that there's like a piano line that goes through the whole song.
Yeah.
That's. Do you know that song, the safety dance?
No, I don't know any songs here.
The safety dance is a very old song
Okay.
by a band called Men Without Hats, and it's a fantastic song.
Mm-hmm.
It used to play at the place we used to work at.
Yeah.
You would know that song, and then they just copied the piano from it.
What's really annoying about things like that is when you hear something that's, it's being copied and that song's really popular, but the song that's being copied off wasn't exactly popular.
Yeah.
And everyone's liking that song. And it's like, well, you can listen to a better version of that song and the original version. Yeah. But
yeah,
you
that's
didn't.
The feeling I get with this song.
Yeah.
People, I'm sure there's a very small percentage of people in the world who have recognized that's been copied off Men Without Hats. And then no one's doing anything about it. Whereas
no one's doing anything about it because no one knows, pretty much, You're one of the minority who know.
I want to sue Macklemore for it.
Yeah.
On behalf of
it could be like one of those things as well, like, I mean, let's just say he didn't copy. He might have been listening to that song and a couple of weeks later he wanted to think of like a new song that he wanted to write and he had it sort of stuck in his head somewhere. And then he sort of just made that song and didn't realize where he got it from.
No, he realized.
Well, sometimes that can happen.
Well, for people like Macklemore, I actually wonder if he is in charge of all his music as well.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like other people write their songs for him.
Yeah. So I don't know. I could talk about this forever, but I won't.
Well, that's what you should do in your new podcast.
Yeah, I should do that. That's still in the works, by the way. Still in the very conceptual
How long
work.
does it take?
Oh, the other guys are so lazy.
Just sit down and record.
No, that's not even. We haven't even got the platform for it to go on yet.
Just start putting it on YouTube, just like we're doing. You know what you should do? Just do episode 0.1, and it'll be like you planning the
Oh,
podcast.
like a test episode.
Yeah, you guys are just sitting down talking about what the podcast is going to be like, but record that conversation, and that's episode 0.1. You know?
Would people want to hear about that?
Who cares?
I don't think people want to hear our conversations in general.
Why? What do you talk about?
I don't know. Butts?
Nice. Hopefully they're female butts.
Sure. No, okay, let's talk about games.
Actually, before we bring that up, because I said it was going to be pretty much our topic of the show, I do want to bring up some other things. Maybe it's just some news things that we've missed out on the past couple of weeks. Now, because we did miss a week, that entire week that we missed, I didn't look up game news at all. Mm-hmm. I've only recently looked up game news the past 2 to 3 days, so I've probably missed a lot. So that's not going to be covered.
Nah, whatever.
Eh.
It probably wasn't important.
Anyway, I read sort of an interview with Pete Hines, who is a marketing executive for Bethesda, and he is under the impression that we will not be getting sequels to Evil Within, Rage, and The Elder Scrolls for at least a decade.
I did read this.
His quote was, "I know what they're working on for the next decade, and I think all of them are things to get excited about for different reasons, and once they come out, folks will enjoy them for what they are."
This is good because
But we know Bethesda Studios is working on a game that's not Fallout and Elder Scrolls.
Yeah.
So
this is good because we live in a time of sequels of 5s and 6s
Yeah, I
and 8s
know. And Evil Within could have been one of those things that turned into Resident Evil. You know,
Sure.
Evil Within 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You know.
Do you kind of appreciate games more that stand on their own?
Yeah,
After
I
a certain
do, but
time,
I love sequels though to
Yeah.
games.
But it could Evil Within could become that cult thing 10 years down the track.
Yeah, exactly.
People
are asking for it. You know, yeah.
Yeah.
But then again, like sequels to me are just sort of an improved version of the original game. You know, if Evil Within 2 comes out, it'll be just like Evil Within, just maybe a different setting, different story, but it'll be improved. They will have improved everything.
Maybe they don't want to do that. Maybe they just want to shake the whole thing up.
Yeah,
again.
that's true. Yeah.
And they need
But
lots
I
of
mean,
time
didn't
to
they do that with the Resident Evil? They started really good with the Resident Evil. Everyone enjoyed it, but when they shook things up with 5 and 6, it just
That's
got
true.
ridiculous.
That's to say though that franchise just I feel like that franchise was just trying to go along with what was happening at the time.
They wanted to be a first-person shooter kind of thing
Yeah, but then
with the Halos coming out. And
yeah, and then you can even argue that the new Resident Evil is also going along with what's happening at the time too, the very first-person survival horror kind of thing. So yeah, I don't know.
I still cannot wait for that game.
I forgot about it. Hey,
Yeah, it's gonna be so good.
I forget. All these games that were announced at E3 or talked about at E3 that are coming out at the end of the year, I completely forgot about. I forgot about Watch Dogs. I forgot about No Man's Sky, which just got released. I forgot that thing existed. Stuff like that.
Let's just talk a little bit about No Man's Sky. Have you seen some gameplay?
Yes,
What do you think?
it's a game that's not for me, but it looks pretty incredible.
I think I would like. This is another one of those games which makes me want to buy a PS4.
Yeah.
Uncharted 4 was another one, and it's just space exploration. You know that old PC game we had, Freelancer. Like we haven't had a game like that since. I can't remember the last time I played a space exploration game.
There's been a few. There's been ones, mainly on the PC called Elite Dangerous.
Yeah. But I mean, we're not into PC anymore, so it's kind of hard. A console game where you fly around in space. You just don't get that anymore. So
Yeah.
that's why. But yeah, it looks really cool. Just going, I've just watched some gameplay of just exploring different planets, and I mean that's pretty much what you do. The goal is to get this into the center of the universe, but you don't even have to do that. You can just explore pretty much and go from planet to planet, getting resources. And I don't see how you could. I mean, I don't see how it could keep you interested for 100 hours.
No.
Maybe 30 to 40 hours.
Because you
That
think
kind of
you
thing.
eventually just start repeating yourself very
Yeah,
quickly?
yeah. I mean, because the developers even said they haven't even been to some planets.
No,
So,
isn't the number like 18 quillion
yeah.
planets or
So
something?
it's obviously all generated. So after a good 30 to 40 hours, you're gonna feel this repetition. You're gonna realize things are starting to sort of. You're gonna see the generation. You know.
Yeah. The concept of the game is that it's based on this, from what I've read, is based on this real advanced mathematical algorithm that it can procedurally generate for that amount of planets there are.
Yeah.
But the developers were hoping that one single player would never, because there's such a huge quantity, that the algorithm is smart enough not to keep repeating itself
Yeah.
in the
Okay.
amount of time you play.
Yeah.
So I guess they want people to play for up to, let's say, 300 hours. They would hope in that 300 hours you would never see the same planet.
Yeah.
Which is kind of hard to believe, but maybe it's the thing that I'm thinking it's, you wouldn't see the same things. You just keep doing the same things.
Yeah. That's what I think. What I'm getting to.
Okay.
Yeah, doing the same things. You're going to the planet and doing the same thing. Yeah.
There's no story or anything to
No
push you
story,
along.
yeah.
Or...
But what about? I know the goal is to get to the center of the universe, but what about the edges of the universe? I mean, you know how in open world games there is an end point. You can't go out. I mean, what happens if you keep going the other way? But in the game, you don't know really which way you're going. Is that right? Do you have like a radar? Do you know you're going to the center? You're heading towards there?
From what I've seen, there's a thing that says distance to the center. But
So,
I don't think
I suppose,
I don't think it points you in the right way. You just have to guess based on.
But if it says the distance, if you're heading towards it, it'll lower the distance.
Yeah.
So if you just head the different direction, what happens if you keep heading that way?
Don't know. Maybe it's
Will you come to one of those just an invisible wall?
Yeah. Maybe it's in like in Futurama when they get to the edge of the universe and they see a parallel version of themselves.
Oh yeah.
Maybe.
What about in Star Fox? You just turn around.
Oh yeah.
Do the flip and
Maybe.
Or in Halo Master Chief, the original Halo, when you go into the water in the beach and you just keep going, but then you turn around, you haven't traveled anywhere.
Really? I don't remember that.
Yeah. So if you're in the Warthog in the fourth course Silent Cartographer,
Yeah.
and you get into the beach and you just keep driving out into the ocean,
Yeah.
and then you turn around and all of a sudden you haven't really driven anywhere, but it looks like you are driving somewhere. You know.
That's funny. That's interesting.
I think that happened in Mario 64 as well. You climbing up those stairs,
Oh yeah.
and you turn around, you haven't gone anywhere.
There.
Yeah.
I wonder how they do that. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Clever. I remember the Mario one. I don't remember the Halo thing though. Have to give it a shot again. Yes.
Yeah. Pokemon Uranium version. Have you seen some gameplay?
I watched the video.
I watched the trailer, the 3-minute trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks cool, doesn't it?
It looks amazing. Like this
But-
is made from some guy who it took 9 years for him to make it. And the most exciting thing about this is it's a new Pokemon game. It looks like a real Pokemon game from Game Freak, and it's one of those old style Pokemon games as well.
Kind of looks like it's taken from Ruby Sapphire.
Yeah, kind of like all the Fire Red
Yes.
days. Yeah, kind of that.
But I think we're too late to this, Scott, because I tried to download it. It's gone.
It's already gone.
Yeah. These are the things that fan made projects, particularly Nintendo ones, really bug me about. It's cool that fans like to make their own sort of stuff like this, but I hate when big media publications pick up on them, because that's when Nintendo or Game Freak obviously catch them.
Yeah.
You know, well that would be their biggest chance to catch them.
Yeah.
And it gives it's publicizing to us, the public, to go download it, but that download span is real tight to get it in there in time. So
But would you be annoyed if you spent 9 years making a game, you put it up, and then within 2 days it's off?
he's got to know. He's got to know what he's getting
He
into.
would have known, yeah. But I mean, I think just the self satisfaction that you completed this,
Yeah.
and you have the copy for the rest of your life as well. You know, you wanted to share it with others because obviously he put it up there for free. It's, you know, a free download. Probably the only thing he would be angry about is that he couldn't share it to everybody. You know, so but I mean, if I made it, I would be sort of really self-satisfied that, you know, I have this game, and whenever I play it, you know, I made this.
Yeah.
I've got a copy for life. You know, that's sort of all
The thing that
matters.
really, the concept of, or the idea of the game is really cool. Like the like nuclear radiation's taking over. What a really cool idea.
And a new type of Pokemon, the nuclear Pokemon. That's cool.
Yeah, and 100 was it 150 or
Yeah,
something?
150,
Brand new
yeah.
Pokemon, and from the trailer they looked pretty legit.
The Pokemon, the character models look really good. It's just the names. Did you read some of the names? Some of the names were a bit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
well, it's pretty tough to do.
Yeah, it would be the toughest job, I reckon, coming up with those names.
Yeah.
So that's why they were a bit pretty bad. But the character models, really good.
I tip my hat to this guy because pretty solid effort.
Yeah.
Another I'm not sure if you're going to mention it, another fan made project, Nintendo, the Metroid one. So it was called like another Super Metroid 2 remake or something like that.
Yeah.
Which I've seen gameplay from, and again, like it's taken down again. It doesn't exist. But I'm not sure how this, in any way, shape, or form, was a remake, because it looks identical to what Metroid looked like.
Yeah.
So I don't know what they did to make it a remake.
Do you reckon they somehow uploaded that game onto a computer or something and then just changed things, like using that same game?
Maybe. I don't know how people do that though.
I don't know. Like, people can do anything.
Yeah. Maybe the point of it was just to pretty much like 99% emulate the Metroid game and be able to play it for free on a PC. Maybe.
Is it like a thing to say to those people, like, what? Give us another Metroid game and we don't have to do this.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, like I said, I'm not too crazy on fan-made projects. I appreciate what they do, but it's dumb. They know what they're getting into.
Yeah. So. Speaking of Metroid, Metroid Prime Federation Force comes out in 7 days, 1 week from now, and we are both really excited for it. And it is, you know, 411 folks, we have said it nearly every episode that we really like this game, and we do not know why there's so much hate for it.
We have bet from the beginning
Yeah.
that this game is good.
Yeah. We at least think it's going to get about a 7.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm what's the word? I'm optimistically hopeful.
Yes.
There's a phrase there. Anyway,
Yeah.
I'm excited for it, but I'm not raising my expectations out of the roof kind of thing.
I think I'm just really excited because it's a different kind of 3DS game. We haven't really had a first-person shooter on the 3DS.
No, and I read too just a couple days ago that I think like review copies are out there of the game so far, and sort of features of the game have been written about online. Not reviews, but just like little features. One of the things I read is it's pretty much supposed to be played with other people.
Yeah.
Like it's built to be played with other people, which is how it's been marketed, but it also lends itself to being played solo, which I think is pretty cool. Unlike, what's that Zelda game called? Triforce Heroes.
Yeah.
Where that is, you can play it solo, but you have to.
Yeah.
You need 2 other people.
Yeah.
Whereas the thing I read at least said you can like the other characters just turn into AI. Whereas Triforce Heroes, you had to physically move the other characters around yourself.
That's annoying.
Yeah, very annoying.
It's similar to what how Lego does it as well.
Yeah.
You have to sort of switch into another body
Oh,
to move things around.
yeah, but at least the characters still move with you.
Yeah.
But yeah, you have to keep changing.
Yeah.
So I think when we play this game, I think we test out playing ourselves and then test out having a session together.
Yeah. We're going to try and like get it on day 1 and then play it for like 2 days straight because it comes out on a Saturday. So we get it Saturday, play it Saturday and Sunday, and then pretty much like maybe do a podcast review on it.
Yeah. Cool.
No one will listen to it, but
I think
no one will listen to it if we say, "Oh, amazing Metroid game." Everyone will listen to it if we say, "Shit game."
Yeah. I think the thing that's generates more things on YouTube is people saying they hate things rather than
Yeah.
negative reviews generate more traction than positive reviews.
Yeah.
So let's put the title as we hate this game.
Yeah, but just start off by saying, "Love this game."
Yeah. We got the view, so who cares?
Yeah. So it's coming up towards the end of the year, and at the end of the year, Jake, we are going to probably our last show of 2016. We'll do a Game of the Year show, a 411 folks Game of the Year show. And I actually looked through an entire list of all the games that have come out this year, and there's not many that we've played out of all of them. We've played most of the good ones, but a question I wanted to pose to you was, what do you think about awarding? I mean, because we're obviously not in the business of games or whatever, and we can only sort of we only have enough time to play what we can, and only have enough money to buy what we can. What are the rules on sort of awarding a game of the year if you have only watched gameplay?
Yeah, interesting, because one of my Game of the Years for last year was Until Dawn.
Yeah,
I didn't play that.
Yeah,
I watched it. So I think it's justified.
Because surely, I mean, in our conversation of awarding Game of the Year, there'd be Uncharted 4 there, but neither of us would have played it.
Yeah, but we've still pretty much got the experience from it.
Yeah.
I think I can see how people would be angry with that.
Yeah.
Considering as well, we didn't give anything back to the people who made it. We didn't buy the game, and us watching it only gave money to the YouTuber who played it.
Pretty much, yeah.
So that's a bit unfair, but whatever, we still got the experience out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So no, I can see that.
I think we can do what we want, pretty much.
Sure. I mean, how many games have you watched this year rather than played?
I watched only 2: Uncharted and Lego Star Wars.
Okay. Yeah, mine's been Uncharted, and there's been something else. I have to get back to you on that.
Do you, off the top of your head, can you name some games that have just been outstanding this year?
I was actually thinking about this morning.
Yeah.
3 come to mind. 4 come to mind. 4.
Okay.
Zero Time Dilemma.
Yep, obviously.
And the rest are actually Wii U games. Pokemon Tournament, Star Fox Zero, and this one's a bit of a cheat, but Twilight Princess HD.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I can count it, but I'm always going to chuck it in there.
Yeah.
So that's from the top of my head, from thinking. Games that have come out this year, they top the list easily.
Mm-hmm.
So what about you? Can you think of anything?
Well, a lot of the games that I've played this year have been old games.
Yeah.
Like I've barely touched new games this year. And I'm looking at a list of games that we have played right now, that have come out this year. I can only think of a few that might get a mention in our conversation, which might be Fire Emblem Fates, the ones that you just mentioned. There's not really any others, to be honest.
No,
I'll show you the list. I mean, there's Doom. Would that get a mention?
Are these the games that I've played as well?
Yeah. To the best of my knowledge.
Doom would make it for me. Inside as well. Ooh. Inside was the other one. I played Inside. What am I talking about?
Yeah, you played Inside this year. Yeah.
I played it and I watched it.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the list, hey. I did. A lot of the games we did play as well have been older games.
Well, I'll just read out the list anyway. We've got Fire Emblem Fates, Twilight Princess HD, Pokemon Tournament, Mario and Sonic at the Real Olympics 2016. I don't think that's going to be there. Garden Warfare 2, that's not going to be there.
Awful.
Dirt Rally, Bravely Second, which I still have not touched.
Was that this? Did that come out this year?
Yeah, February.
Oh, okay.
Star Fox Zero.
Yeah.
Was that up there?
Yeah, I just mentioned it in my...
Did you? Oh, yeah, okay. Battleborn, Uncharted 4, Doom, Lego Star Wars, Zero Time Dilemma, Inside, and Pokemon Go.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So, And there are also some games that are yet to come out that might be on that list as well.
Like Metroid Prime.
Like Metroid Prime, imagine that. Game of the Year, Metroid Prime Federation Force.
Is it funny how all my games have been Nintendo? Or on Nintendo systems?
Yeah.
I love that.
What about Skyrim Special Edition?
If are we actually going to count remasters and re-releases? If I can say Twilight Princess, can you say Skyrim?
Well, if you can say Twilight Princess, then I can definitely say Skyrim.
Sure. Yeah.
There's also lots of good Nintendo games coming out. Pokemon Sun and Moon.
Oh yeah.
Dragon Quest games. There's that Ever Oasis as well that we don't really know what that's like. But yeah, so a few good ones coming up.
Very cool. Well,
and Watch Dogs too. That might be a big surprise.
Yeah, I'm interested in that.
Yeah,
we'll play that.
So how about we get into what we've been playing?
Yes.
Do you want to start?
Okay. How long have you got?
Talk for however long you want.
So the biggest.
This will be a spoiler free.
Okay.
Review.
Yeah.
Maybe just speak in general.
Okay, sure. Well,
the best that you can.
So the last we spoke, obviously the game I've been playing the most is Zero Time Dilemma. Mm-hmm. And just this morning I surpassed the 20-hour mark. And I feel like that's just over... I feel like I just got 3/4 of the way. So I've got about 10 hours left, I'd say.
Did you sort of look up how long the game takes?
No, I didn't.
Did you look up sort of... I mean, does the game go in chapters or something?
No. I mean, there are specific sections you can jump to.
Did you sort of look up what sections are left or anything?
Yeah, you can see how many left.
Yeah. So you do have a rough idea how far you're into it.
The thing is, I'll come to a point in the game now where, like I said, the game is about decision making and branching paths. Because you can't get to every branching path at the one certain time, you have to keep jumping back and forth to different parts in these timelines to unlock other sections in timelines. So you're always jumbling around the place. And so it was actually last night I came to a crosshair where I couldn't progress any further. They were all locked paths. And I was wondering, I couldn't figure out what to do. So the point of the game is...
You have to go back.
You have to go back and you have to... Even though I had already altered my decisions to unlock other branching paths, I still had to alter this decision again.
That's weird.
It is weird, and it plays into the story, so I don't want to say too much.
You can't just follow just one timeline to the end. You have to go back.
You have to go back, and that's again. Like, I don't want to say much more.
Wait, so because this game is sort of about time travel, isn't it?
Yeah. And
so that's the point of it. You're traveling back in time.
Well,
kind of thing.
Not directly.
Okay.
Like characters aren't physically traveling back in time. It's like a conscious, like your mind is traveling back in time.
You're just like sort of playing God there.
A little, yeah.
It's weird.
I still haven't grasped the concept of it yet.
Yeah.
Because there's like so much science and everything involved.
Well, last week we were talking about this game and you said you literally cannot stop thinking about it.
I texted you when I was at work.
So, like, why? What makes this game like that?
It's difficult to say because on the surface this game is just as like a Saw spin-off.
Yeah.
Like you're in these torture rooms and you have to work out puzzles in the rooms just to get out, and then all of a sudden a twist that you never saw coming reveals itself, and it just plays on your morals and plays on your mind so quickly, and and when you have to make decisions you have to make them quick, and sure you can go back and make the other decision, but when you're there in the moment and you want to make that first decision, if you were in that situation, I don't know, there's something to that. It's something pretty interesting. Like again, I don't want to talk specifics, but obviously there are certain points in the time when you have to decide whether to kill someone to save another person and this and that. So me trying to be the character in the game, trying to weigh the options, and would I kill this person to save that or that kind of thing.
Yeah,
it's interesting, and yeah, like I said, I can't stop thinking about it, and I don't know why. But yeah.
And do you want to play it right now?
I do. Yeah, because like I said, I'm probably about 3/4 of the way. I could probably knock it over today.
How many hours into the game did you realize that you were hooked?
2-3 hours.
But in those 2 and 3 hours, were there moments where you're like, I could put this down and probably never pick it up again?
No.
Really? So
Not at
pretty
all.
much straight away, you could feel like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to finish this game.
Yeah, the story. I mean, because I watched a recap story of the past 2 games as well, and that kind of hooked me. But it was...
So that's what throws me off, because I don't really want to do that. I don't mind watching the recap story of the first game, but because the second game is on the 3DS, I feel like I have to play the second game on the 3DS.
Yeah. But, like I said a couple weeks ago, Zero Time Dilemma, sure, it's the third game, but it fits in
into
between
the second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you still need to play them in chronological order.
But you did get Virtue's Last Reward, the second game.
Surprisingly on sale right now until the end of the month.
For how much?
$22, I think.
That's not bad. Not bad.
Pretty good. I was surprised to see it there on sale.
Because, like I said, I couldn't get that. I tried to find Virtue's Last Reward in stores, couldn't get it anywhere. I think it's out of print, so you can only pretty much get it on the Virtual Console. But Zero Time Dilemma, do they sell a physical copy of that?
I don't think so.
Because I've been looking in stores, and they don't sell it anywhere.
No, I think that's only
So
maybe
it's download only.
Yeah, I think maybe America and Japan have a physical copy.
Yeah.
For us, at least in Europe, the Europe region.
Yeah.
We don't get one.
It's actually, I mean, if they did have a physical copy and it was quite rare to get, it's better that it's just download only, because it just, the OCD in me would want to find that physical copy, even if I would have to pay $30, $40 more for it.
Yeah, right.
So the OCD in me is just relaxed, so I can just download it.
Well, the game was already, I think it was $63 download.
Yeah.
So that's more than a physical copy.
Yeah, right.
But there is one specific point in the game where I do want to talk about. Like I said, this game is very based on a lot of science, and probability has a lot to talk. They always talk about the odds and the probability when it comes to decision making. So there was a point in the game, I guess there's minor spoilers in here, but I'm trying to think of what the concept they used. There's a thing where you get to 10 lockers in front of you, and in one of the 10 lockers is a gas mask to survive obviously what's happening at the time. And the thing I'm trying to think of, there's a phrase they used, Monty something or other. Anyway, the concept of it is, so you have a choice of 10 lockers, you choose your one, and then all the other lockers, and then 8 lockers out of the 10 open. So you're the one you chose didn't open, stays closed, and just a random other one
stays closed.
Yeah. And the point of it is, and then you have another decision whether you stay with your choice or you switch to the other one that stays closed.
Right.
And that's where the branch part.
What was in the other lockers?
Nothing.
Okay.
And again, the 2 closed, one has a gas mask and one doesn't. So there's a choice. Do you stay with your choice or do you switch? And
But what if the gas mask was in one of the ones that opened?
Oh, the game is programmed to make sure the one you chose.
Or the other one.
Or the other one,
okay.
yeah. In this specific situation, at least.
Yeah.
And the concept they use, I can't think of the word of it, but it's a thing that was coined in some American game show, TV game show, that they have a selection of 3 doors, and a car is behind one of them, and the other 2 have goats behind them. And then so they ask the contestant to pick a door. Say you want to pick number 3, and then the host opens number 1, and there's a goat behind it. He says, "Okay, do you want to stay with number 3, or do you want to choose number 2 now?" And then because there's that pressure of, oh man, he's already chose one goat, and now he said, now I get to choose again. Do you play on the fact that, is he playing with me because the host knows what's behind the door? Is he trying to trick me? Do I want to switch? Do I want to stay? And I don't know, that was really interesting. I've never come across that kind of thing in a video game before.
Here's a question about that, though. Can you sort of read the host's facial expressions or inflections in his voice to get an answer?
No. because
Not even in the actor's voice. Can you sort of can that weigh in on your decision?
no, because the person telling you is an automated voice message.
Yeah.
So there's no hints to give you. So, I mean, the outcomes of this are easy. This is one of there are points in the game called decision games, and this is one of the easier ones because you only have two options. You either stick with your one all the way through, or you switch. But I just found it interesting because I got stuck. I didn't know what to do, and they kept bringing up this phrase called the Monty something or other. I wish I remembered it. So I had to physically put the game down and Google this thing to explain what this probability term was, so I can then revert back to the game of what I learned. I don't know, how cool is that?
Yeah,
like outside learning of a game.
You have to learn things.
And I don't know, it's the coolest game. I always have to keep a notepad and pen next to me when I play. I pretty much fill up an entire page from every puzzle I do. The puzzles themselves get pretty difficult. I've had to use guides on more than one occasion now. Only when it gets to the math problems involving numbers, I'm hopeless with.
I would smash that. I'm good with numbers.
Yeah, but when it comes to just like lateral thinking,
outside of the box,
I can do that because everything, like I keep saying, everything is there. When it comes to numbers and you actually have to physically work out, no, I have to revert to a guide because I'll be there forever. I just couldn't do it.
See, that's why you need me there.
Well, that's why you should play this game.
We should help each other out, on puzzles.
Yes, we should.
No, I do plan on getting it, but you need to sell this for me because I have some questions. Okay, you need to pitch this right.
Okay.
My question is, we were speaking about this last time on the podcast, where I said I played the demo for number 2, and I said I didn't really like the way the game controlled, where you it's one of those point and click games, and I didn't sort of like the way the game looked. Now that you've played number 3 and 2,
I haven't played 2.
Oh, you haven't touched it
at
all. Damn it! That was my question. I was going to see how does it compare against it.
I've seen parts of them.
Well, you've watched some. Yeah, so can you sort of weigh in on that?
In terms of
have they updated visuals?
Zero Time Dilemma, it's in 3D now, 3D models.
Yeah.
But that's still as clunky and as...
Yeah, because how long do you spend on one of these puzzles, Like sometimes an hour, right?
No, I've never spent an hour. Probably the max has probably been close to 40 minutes.
See, I don't know if I could, look at it for that long, just in that one space,
Yeah. It's not terrible to look at, but it's just you're not focusing on the one thing for too long. You're always moving around. You always you might be looking at the screen, but you always have to revert back to your notes on your notepad but when it comes to gameplay wise, when you're doing the puzzles, it is point and click.
Yeah.
And I guess
does that get frustrating?
The one thing that does get frustrating is when you think you've clicked on something and you miss it, or you don't click on it exactly. Something really tiny. Yeah. Like this was happening this morning, and then you think, okay, there is nothing left I can do. So you do one more scan of the room. Yeah. And the thing you clicked on in the very beginning was actually it, but you didn't click on it right there. Yeah. And usually it's kind of forgiving. Usually to touch is kind of forgiving. But if it's something small, maybe like a machine or a computer, and one button, then you miss it.
So that's another problem as well. You've got a 3DS XL. Yeah. I've only got the small one, so it would be even more difficult for me to get those little things.
Yes, probably. Yep. The game does run awful as well, frame rate wise. If there's water running in the scene, or if there's smoke billowing in, maybe 10 frames a second or some shit like that.
Oh my god.
Awful. But whatever.
The game is in English, isn't it? Because I was always confused when I downloaded that demo. It was Japanese speaking with English subtitles. So.
Oh
yeah. But how is the voice acting?
I think I mentioned this a couple weeks ago. Terrible.
Yeah.
Absolutely awful. But and the writing in most of the time the writing is pretty bad as well.
But that could be just translation.
Sure, yeah, and English dubs of things are typically terrible.
Yeah.
In general, you can revert to Japanese voices.
Yeah, and that's a good option that it has that option.
Yeah.
So, but then that just requires more reading in an already puzzle logic game kind of thing. So
that's true. But no, I've come to accept the voice acting now. There is a barrier you have to cross in maybe the first 5 to 10 hours of the game, where you just the voices are grating, awful. But I've come to, because I've started to know the characters a bit more, their backstory.
Yeah,
there are still some characters' voices and just those characters in general, which I hate, and their voices I hate, but you just got to get used to that.
Are there characters who are in Virtue's Last Reward who are also in Zero Time Dilemma?
Yes, I think most of them. I think there's 9 characters in this game. Oh well, 8. 10, but you play as 9 characters, and I think there are only 3 new characters.
But I thought in Virtue's Last Reward some of them die, but they appear again in Zero Time Dilemma.
Well, that's the thing.
Oh, that's right.
Virtue's
Yeah.
At the end.
Yeah. So, but we both don't know about the first game if those characters are there in the first game. So,
well, I know a character. Ooh, I think Junpei is a character. I think he's in all of them.
Yeah. So obviously he can't die in number 1 or something. So.
No.
Unless he can, and it might be one of those Mass Effect Dragon Age things where if you play all 3 games, they connect. Your file your saves go over.
Maybe, yeah.
But I guess that would be impossible with the original game not being available on the 3DS. So.
True. Either way, I'm just hooked in this game because games like with multiple outcomes and branching piles and how it's very slowly now. All the timelines are all starting to interconnect, and the way you start figuring out, the way you kind of see how the timelines cross over is, the objective of the game is to have out of the 9 people, 6 people have to die in order for these passwords to come out, and those passwords have to go into the door to escape. So the way how timelines are brought together are by the announcer reading out passwords as they come along, and I've been writing them all down and then trying to connect them together on paper and in my mind. Like I said, the timelines are all scattered, so with these passwords you can see some of them slowly come together, and that timeline's connected, that one and this one, and I don't know, it's really cool.
Well, let's give it an official review score.
I haven't finished it though.
Doesn't matter. Well, most reviewers don't finish the game.
Really? Oh, okay. Out of what, 10? I could do 10.
Out of 10, yep.
A solid 8.5.
Ooh, okay, 8.5.
Yeah. Just
what makes it not a 10?
Because just the whole, I guess
the finishing touches kind of thing. You said the frame rate issues,
yeah,
the clunkiness feel of it.
Yeah, just the stylish look of the game.
Would you rather it be, you move your joystick forward and he walks forward rather than the point and click?
No, I wouldn't want that.
Okay.
Because the rooms are so small.
Yeah.
It's just, it just doesn't come together in a very visually pleasing way.
Yeah. I suppose what holds it back is maybe the budget of being able to make this game into a AAA experience.
Sure. Yeah. And I don't know, maybe it's, I definitely know the visuals aren't as probably the worst on the 3DS. I've seen gameplay on Steam through YouTube, and it looks super crisp. It runs at 60 frames, and that would probably make my score up to a 9.5, honestly.
So, because it is on PS Vita and PC.
Yeah.
Have you seen PS Vita gameplay?
I don't think I have. I'm not sure how you can. I don't know if many people can record game capture on PS Vita.
Yeah, I've never looked anything up.
No.
From gameplay of Vita.
No.
So
I don't know. Either way, yeah, I've seen the game at its max, and
Yeah.
I've seen it at its lowest, and
That's such a shame. Like, I don't know why they can't sort of. I mean, because the game, it's not a very big file, is it?
it's pretty big. Yeah.
I don't know why they can't sort of just enhance it a little on the 3DS, you know?
No idea, but
See, that's what annoys me. Why can't they maybe have options to enhance it if you have the new 3DS?
sure, yeah.
Yeah. Because obviously there's the new 3DS would be capable of holding a
Well,
bigger.
just in general, don't games run in general better on new 3DS? I want to see how.
I think loading times,
Oh, okay.
but I don't think graphics, no.
No. Well, your loading time, there are essentially no loading time. There are loading screens, but they last less than 3-4 seconds.
Well, it'd be interesting to put it on the old 3DS and see how long they last there.
Yeah. Well, so that's pretty much Zero Time Dilemma. I think by next week I'll have it done. One thing I do want to quickly mention, I said to you last night, I did buy Virtual's Last Reward, and I want to start Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, because they're another kind of visual novel-esque kind of game. I'm pretty into that right now. But I am officially running out of room on my 3DS SD card, and I got the biggest one possible.
Yeah.
Because I have some big games. I have Donkey Kong Country and Mario 3D World, which take up so much. And now with all these other games like Fire Emblem, like Zero Time Dilemma, like Ace Attorney, Animal Crossing, I'm officially getting close to running out of room.
How do you think I'll go? I've never bought... Like, I've got just the original SD card for my new 3DS. If I download both Zero Time games...
You'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. But,
Because I've only got some small games like the Pokemon Yellow and some of those, you know,
Super Nintendo.
pull box thing. Yeah, and Super Nintendo games as well.
You'll be fine. I wonder how it goes when, because there will come a point where I'll have to buy a new SD card. I'll have to try and start buying more physical copies now of games. But I wonder if I can have games on one SD card and the other and just keep switching in and out. It's tough for...
Well, I mean, you can't get a bigger one, can you? The one you have is the biggest.
Yeah.
So that's what you have to do. You have no other option.
Yeah, but it's tough for a new 3DS because to get your SD card, you have to unscrew the back.
Yeah.
Oh.
So that's annoying.
Yeah.
But I suppose the way to fix that is if from now on you just buy physical games, it doesn't take up that much space, does it?
No.
So you can just buy physical games and it'll be alright. You can still use it on the SD card.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's such a shame.
That's something that needs to be fixed, because you haven't got that many games.
I don't, but they're big games.
Yeah.
They're really big. Like I said, Fire Emblem and Animal Crossing probably take up the most.
Oh, I was going to say, I thought you had Xenoblade, but no, you've got that on the Wii.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man,
what about Bravely Second? Did you download that as well?
Oh, I did. Oh, I got these huge RPGs.
Yeah, yeah.
I only get them because they're cheap. They're actually cheaper than buying physicals.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, well, I'm going to have to learn. So,
is there anything you can delete?
I don't really want to.
Yeah.
I have some Super Nintendo. Yeah. I don't want to. I guess Donkey Kong Country.
No. That's a good game.
Yeah. But I wonder if... can you delete it but keep the save file? So I can buy...
I think it might work like that.
No,
You delete it and then you can just download it for free again.
Really?
That's how it works on Xbox.
Oh, yeah. I'm not sure Nintendo is that.
Yeah. Nintendo's pretty unforgiving.
Yeah. Anyway, I think I've talked long enough about Zero Time. But
yeah, that was good. It gave me a good break.
I just can't recommend this game highly enough. I know it's not for everyone, and maybe for you, I think you need to watch me play it for a while.
Yeah, well...
Or at least just watch an hour gameplay on YouTube.
What frustrates me is those games where you don't know what to do next. And it's there, but like you can't do it. Like,
yeah, but like I said, I came to a point with no progression, but because you're starting to get your ropes on the story, you kind of know that you have to go back and just retrace your steps and just take it slow. And usually I'm not that kind of gamer. Like you said, like I I get to a hard point and I kind of just give up. But I'm determined to see this all the way through.
Maybe you are maturing as a person. You're turning into an adult.
Oh my god. Oh my god, don't say that.
Oh my god. That was a good 25 minutes. 25-minute review of Zero Time Dilemma. Perfect. I suppose I'll get a bit into what I've been playing now.
Here we go.
I've been playing some Telltale games. And I downloaded that Telltale pack of 5 games. I downloaded that about at the beginning of the year, and I never touched it. Well, I put on The Walking Dead, and I played it for like 20 minutes, and I kind of just turned it off. It just wasn't in the mood. But I actually sat down and turned on Game of Thrones, and I was just so surprised. Like, I was hooked. I haven't felt like that since I played Mass Effect 2, when I just, you just couldn't put it down, and you just wanted to keep going all night. And yeah, like, because I thought I'd sort of lost that. I didn't know whether it was me getting older or it was just me not having enough time to play games. I just thought I'd lost. I couldn't do that anymore. Where I'd be so hooked that I didn't want to get off. I just wanted to keep going. And this is the first game where I've actually been so hooked in a while. So I'm pleased that it's not me just getting out of games. It's just finding the right game. And so the Telltale games it's just a huge surprise for me.
I guess Telltale games also lend themselves to long sittings as well.
Yeah,
because
that's right.
Like a TV show, you can binge it.
Yeah, and that's what it felt like I was doing, and it was longer than I expected. It took me 13 hours to complete the Game of Thrones series, and there are 6 episodes in this one, which is, I think, longer than they usually are. They're usually 5 episodes.
Usually 5. Yeah.
So this had a 6th episode, and I think it was so amazing just because I'm such a huge fan of the show as well. And when you're watching the show, you're just sort of like, I binge watch the show, and when it has on characters like Cersei and Lady Marjorie and all that, you're just not really thinking, I guess, in terms of how you would speak to them. But when you actually get the chance to choose what you're saying to these really famous characters, it's it's so weird, because you know how Cersei in the show, Queen Cersei, she's like such a bitch and everything. Yeah. And you're thinking, when she's so domineering to these characters and they're sort of like so weak, and you're thinking when you're watching the show, just fuck her up, just say fuck off to her, Yeah. You're thinking that. When I was playing the game, you had those options, but you couldn't do it because you were actually scared of what she might do. Right. That's how it made you feel. And I was like, for the first time I realized, like, it put me in that situation, like I was actually speaking to her, because you were afraid of what she might do, And that's just, this whole game was putting me in those situations that I'd never felt before. Because the whole time when I was watching the show, I'd be like, I would do things so differently. But when I was in the game, no. Like, it made you fear these people and everything.
Cool.
That's just how, that's just why it was so amazing, And it really felt like the show as well, when you it's got all the different parts of the stories happening, and you play with so many different characters as well. There's like 5 characters that you control in all different parts of the world of Game of Thrones, these games, they just give you so many options. The one thing that that was so special about these games, right? Because I'm playing Tales of the Borderlands right now. I was picking that whether I should play Walking Dead or Tales of the Borderlands, but I heard Borderlands was like sort of the funniest one, I guess, because you played it and you thought it was really funny. So I kind of wanted a more lighthearted version of a Telltale game. Yeah. But the thing about these games is, I know that no matter what you choose, things are sort of going to happen, the same. Like, you're going to have sort of an ending scene that you might have different characters there or something, but there'll be little differences depending on what you choose. But when you're making these choices, it feels like the game could go completely separate. Yeah. If you make a decision, and it feels like if you made the other decision, there'd be a completely separate game that you're playing. Yeah. And it makes you feel like your decision is controlling the way the game has been made. And I haven't felt like that since I played Dragon Age Origins. Because Dragon Age Origins was one of those it was pretty much the real first RPG that I really got into. And Origins, I remember feeling like when you were exploring and you were building your party. That made me feel like if I didn't go here, that person would never be in my party, even though I realized later that it's controlled in a way that all these people will eventually be in your party.
Right.
So Telltale games, it made me feel that again. It made me sort of question how this game could possibly be made. There must have been so many different alternatives, and it's got that replayability. I need to play that again as well.
Yeah, so this is one of the things you have the feeling of you want to see every possibility.
Yeah,
do you? I feel
need to.
different because when I played Borderlands, I thought, nope, that's how I see the story. I don't want to see it any other way. I know there are points in that game where this or that happens, and I can see that all that side, but I don't.
But did you have a good ending, like a happy kind of ending?
Sure. Yeah, actually. Yeah.
Maybe that's the difference, because in my Game of Thrones, my ending was not a happy ending.
Oh.
I made some bad choices, and I only learnt that at the end of episode 6 that my choices led to that bad ending. I had no idea that it could end like that. The choices that I was making, I was sure that it would all end up being sort of coming together, happy ending kind of thing. I had no idea that it could end the way it did. And I'm not going to do spoilers or anything, but my God, I was I got slaughtered.
But don't you? But you want to see the other side to that.
I need to see the other side because I need to sort of get that out of my head. It was like a tragedy. It was a catastrophe. I need to have the good ending now.
But okay, do you get the feeling now, if you were to watch the Game of Thrones show, are you going to come to points in the show where you think, oh man, what if they did that now? And you think, what if the show goes in that direction? I'm never going to know that now.
No, I don't think I'd watch the show like that. No. Because the game makes it feel so different. It was like maybe episode 2 or 3 into the game where I was thinking, this could actually be a spin-off show in itself. This could have been because you know how the show is past the books now. They originally were going to take a year or 2 off the show so the books could catch up. I was thinking they could have taken a year off and made a spin-off show as this story. It had potential. It was that good. It was that well written. It could have slotted in there nicely. It was just sort of a side story of what else was going on in Westeros.
Right. So it's still real lore canon.
It's exactly it's canon. It's everything's happening. It's just it's a different family in Westeros. What's happening to this other family? But some other characters are in there as well from the show. And it just slots in perfectly. And I think it happens straight after season 4, or during season 4 actually, because there's some events that happen during season 4.
Okay.
So just awesome, and it finishes where you think there is going to be a season 2.
Okay.
So I'm pretty sure that they're coming out with a season 2 of Game of Thrones, but that might be they've got to wait and see where the show's going. Yeah. I think because nobody knows where the show's going because nobody has read the books.
No, I'm not sure if you read this. They're going to stop at season 8.
Oh, I heard that. Yeah.
So what's that? 2 more seasons?
So, 2 more seasons after this. Yeah.
So
which is good, but I heard season 8 might be a shorter season as well.
Yeah. So
are
they
not many episodes to go?
But I know he's almost done with the book.
But there's still another book to come after that.
Yeah.
And he's taken, I think, 8 years to write this book.
Yeah. God.
I'm afraid he's going to die.
He's dead. Yeah, he's going to die. I'm pretty sure we talked about this already, but do you feel like they're going to finish the show at season 8 to finish off the book he's writing now, and then maybe the next book will be turned into a movie or something?
No,
or a mini series.
No, the because the entire season 6 that just came out was the new book that's been written now, and I think it'll meld into some of season 7, but maybe half of season 7 and all of season 8 will be the final book.
But does he must know. George
he definitely knows how it ends, and I'm pretty sure that's a weird thing because I remember reading the original book, and there's some direct quotes out of the book that are in the show, And I remember watching season 2, 3, and 4, and some of the lines that they say are so well written, but you know that's straight from the book. I haven't seen season 6 yet, but it's going to be different. And a lot of people saying it's really dumbed down because it's not written by whatever his name is.
George R. Martin.
Yeah, it's not written by him. It's
Is
sort
he,
of
is he a writer of the show as well?
he's an advisor, I think.
Okay.
But there's TV writers who write the show, so yeah, it might be weird.
That's interesting. Hey,
Yeah,
that it's so funny how TV shows come out and capitalize on big novel franchises, and even when before they're done, and look at the situation they're in now.
I'm so happy that it's ending at season 8 though.
Yeah, I was just about to ask, do you feel like these next 2 seasons aren't going to wrap up the story like you feel like it should?
No, even after seeing season 5, I feel like it could. Yeah, it's starting to wrap up. So I haven't seen season 6 yet, but season 6, 7, and 8, 3 seasons is a perfect time to sort of wrap it all up and finish it nice and neat.
Yeah, everything I've heard and everything that's been spoiled for me from season 6 sounds like it's a pretty good season.
Yeah.
Man, I got to watch that show.
Oh,
but
it's
comparing with Breaking Bad, that was what 5.5 seasons, I guess you would say. Perfect timing, like perfect amount of seasons. Even though people say it should have finished after 4, no.
Well, yeah, I mean, we were talking about that. I don't think that it should have finished after 4. I think that the season 5 and 6 were the best seasons ever.
Yeah.
But I think they could have skipped things in season 3 and 4.
Yeah.
With the whole Mexican thing. I think they drew that out a bit too long. That's where I got bored. As soon as that finished, as soon as I knew Gus
Fring.
Yeah, Gus Fring. Let's talk some spoilers here. As soon as I knew he was out of the show, I knew there was 2 seasons left, I was like, fuck yes. This is going to be good because it's not about him anymore. It's about Walter now.
Wait, so you were bored with the whole Gus Fring story thread, were you? Everyone says that's the crux of the show, and then it just dips from there.
Because the story's not supposed to be about him. The story's supposed to be about Walter.
Sure, it was still about Walt, but Gus was a villain. Gus was the antagonist of it.
But now Walter becomes the villain.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You know?
Yeah.
Now it's solely about him, and it's about the police catching him. That's what I found most interesting about the show. It's about Walter's still this everyday normal guy. Now the whole show is about him being the major criminal and people finding out that it's him. That's what excited me about it.
Exactly, because that's where season
5 left. Yeah, at the end of season 5,
where he reads. Oh yeah, you're right. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, so you're playing Borderlands now.
Yeah.
One thing I do want to ask is, I played Borderlands on 360. The biggest thing about Telltale games, you've probably come across this in your readings or reviews or something, that they run pretty bad. Did you have a similar experience on the Xbox One?
Borderlands looks really good, actually.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones looks like shit. The back. Oh, well, I wouldn't say it looks like shit. It's like it's watchable, but the backgrounds in Game of Thrones look like art, paintings, kind of thing. That's sort of like the art style. Borderlands just sort of looks like Borderlands graphics.
Yeah, well, it's like cartoony, shell-shaded.
Yeah,
so that clearly looks good.
Yeah,
no matter what.
But I was actually quite impressed with the Game of Thrones. The character models of the real characters, they actually look good, and I think most of the characters had the real voices. If not, they hit it pretty fucking well.
Okay.
I think Jon Snow, it might have been different, but the others were pretty spot on.
I think I definitely know that Cersei was the real.
Yeah, and I know Daenerys is real. What's she called again? Khaleesi.
Yeah,
she was real. The imp. What's his? The midget guy.
Oh,
I'm forgetting names now.
Targaryen.
No, it's not Targaryen. No, the midget dude.
Yeah.
Everyone knows who I'm talking about.
Wow, what's his name?
He was real, I'm pretty sure. And yeah.
Yeah, cool. Well, the thing that Borderlands looked good on 360, but the biggest thing was that it just chugged along so bad. You make your choice, and it would have to like periodically load.
Oh wow.
Your decision, because it would.
Well, yeah, no, I did get some of that with because every single time you're sort of maybe in a battle scene or something, it would have to save. Because, in case you die, it would go back to that save point. So there are kind of things where it just pauses for a fraction of a second to save, and then it continues. But I imagine in the 360 it would pause for a lot longer.
Awful. And it would just like, it would do that thing where it would just be
stutter along. Yeah.
Stutter.
Yeah.
And then some parts were so bad, particularly the very final moments of the last episode where it's epic, epic action, choice making, and then because there's so much action happening on screen and you're making choices, it's just so much stuttering that the voices would be out of sync with, and then the voices would cut over other things. And then the very last scene, I was so invested with what was happening, the voices cut out. There was no audio.
No. Did you have subtitles?
Nope. I don't know what they said in the last scene.
That's I have to play with subtitles.
Yeah.
I have to, because sometimes I don't know if I miss something, I need to read it as well. Like because, the decision making in this game, sometimes it's just so quick. You just have to say something, you know. Were there times where you just, stayed silent?
That's a choice I always forget that exists.
Yeah.
Hey, but
there were times I try to sort of play it like I was watching a real TV show and what would make sense more.
Yeah.
Like, and instead of sometimes making the right choice, I would maybe try to make an interesting choice of where this character is going. That's another thing as well, because you can develop your own character. And in the Game of Thrones one, because you had so many characters you were controlling, you can make this character a really nice person. You can make some other character just a fucking asshole. You had the option to do whatever you wanted with these characters, so that was really cool as well.
Cool.
Maybe to give Game of Thrones a score,
yeah.
I would go a solid 9.
Wow.
And I'd only have to mark it down for 2 reasons. Not visually. Like the visuals were fine. They were sort of, I don't know, not beautiful to look at, but it doesn't really bother me. I had to mark it down for 2 reasons. One reason was sometimes it didn't give you long enough to make a decision, because sometimes there was lots of writing, and by the time I read all the choices, I'd run out of time. So maybe when there is a lot of writing to read, it needs to just maybe extend the decision time, that kind of thing. I understand that in the tension of the moment you have to make a decision, because that's real life. But when you don't know what all the decisions are, then that's just a bit unrealistic.
Sure.
Maybe even an option to sort of say, are you a slow reader or a fast reader? That kind of thing.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Or maybe it gives you a test. It asks you to read a passage of text, and it could, time you and how fast you read, and then it could change the time of decision making.
It's a very good suggestion, Scott.
Yeah, young game developer here.
Great, cool. Move on.
Another thing that marked it down for me was there's lots of scenes. There's quite a few scenes pointless scenes where you have to sort of walk to somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
It cuts to a moment where I would have rather just sit back and watched a cutscene, whereas sometimes you have to walk to somewhere, even if it is just a few steps forward. And it's like, why do you have to do that? And sometimes the exploring as well is like, oh, you can click on that to look at it, and it's like, that's pointless.
That's one of the things, I think, because that's how Telltale games started out, as actual point and click adventures.
Yeah.
And they are, you can tell they've been moving away from that for ages now, just becoming story experiences. But I feel like when I play Telltale, they're still they still have to justify it as a game by having game elements in there.
I don't think you need that.
No.
Like, I was so happy to just sit back and watch it play out, and you just press buttons for the action scenes and the dialogue scenes. I don't want to walk anywhere,
Yeah, and you'll come across a lot of parts in Borderlands actually have a lot of exploring.
So far, I've played 2 episodes of Borderlands, and I haven't had to do as much as Game of Thrones.
Really?
Yeah.
The part I'm thinking of is half, if not just past halfway, Borderlands, and there's a big section of that of exploring.
What was it? I was doing an episode last night, the episode 2 of Borderlands. There was a whole scene where there was quite a lot of walking around actually, and I forgot what it was. But
is the end of episode 1 where you just land on Pandora, or is that end of episode 2?
No, that's during episode 1.
Oh well, okay. Is episode 2 you get to the
end of episode 2? Just some spoilers here, I guess. Just skip 30 seconds. End of episode 2 was when you went into this big underground thing, and the Think 2 space things connected, and the pieces connected, and you saw, the big, this big space thing.
Yeah.
And then there was what's his name? Joe from Family Guy.
Oh yeah, yeah.
He was like threatening with the gun behind the glass window.
Oh okay.
Yeah, that was the end of it.
Joe from Family Guy.
He's a great choice for a voice actor for that guy.
Yeah.
Like perfect choice.
One of my favorite voice actors of all time.
Vasquez, his name is.
Mm.
And some of the characters from this Telltale series, even in Game of Thrones, like I could, some of these guys are like the best game characters I've ever seen.
Great, hey.
Yeah.
Yeah, really cool. Oh man, I wish I could play Borderlands with a fresh set of eyes again. I'm jealous.
Oh, you know what really made me angry? In Borderlands, I think it's episode 2, there's this one moment where you're flying on the robot dude, and your friend Vaughn, he wants to fist bump you.
Oh, yeah.
It gives you the option of fist bump him back or just leave him hanging.
Yeah.
I accidentally pressed the wrong button and I left him hanging.
I think I did that too, actually.
And I'm like, no,
Yeah.
I really wanted to fist bump him.
Yeah.
And he got so sad afterwards. I'm like, buddy.
Yeah, yeah.
But, and then, at the end how it tells you the percentages of what happened?
Yeah.
Only 12% of people left him hanging. I'm like,
Aww. That's
buddy.
cool. Did that happen in Game of Thrones too? You could see decisions?
All decisions.
Were you mainly in the majority or minority of the percentages?
Half. There was sometimes I was in the minority. So, yeah.
That is... I love looking at statistics like that,
yeah.
particularly on these are real people.
But
who
I
did
was
them.
surprised. There was a lot of statistics that was like 50%.
Yeah,
A lot of them are like that. So
that's so interesting.
yeah.
Hey?
And also, but I wish it sort of told you how many people that was out of as well. Another thing that really kind of ruined the ending of Game of Thrones as well during the credit scenes. It's showing you all your statistics during the credit scenes, like for maybe big decisions over the entire game. And I'm trying to read those statistics, but as that's happening, the characters like Cersei and the midget dude and Daenerys were talking to you about your characters, and I'm trying to listen and read different statistics at the same time. Okay. And that multitasking, I couldn't do both, so I had to either tune out for the talking and look at the statistics, or I couldn't read and just listen to the voice. That was a bit stupid.
How was that spoiler though? For what did you say it was a spoiler?
No, not spoiler. Just like I couldn't do both, and I really wanted to listen to and read both.
Yeah, okay.
And there's no way of sort of going back and listening to that again unless you play the episode again. So that kind of not a spoiler. It kind of ruined the ending for me.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Small things though.
Yeah, very small things, but I still think a solid 9 just because I couldn't get it out of my head, and I just wanted to get back on there and play it.
Cool. Well, so Telltale Games obviously make a lot of games already tied to big franchises. The one they're doing currently is Batman. Probably one I'll get into. They just released the first episode, but like a lot of these things, I need the whole thing right there and then.
Yeah.
I do not want to wait.
How long do they usually? Is it like a 8 months, 9 months of episodes coming out?
I was going to say 8 months.
Yeah.
Maybe 8 months to a year. I know Minecraft probably took a year.
What was the first Telltale game that came out exclusively on the new consoles?
Exclusively?
Like they didn't come out on PS3 and Xbox 360.
I don't think that's happened. Oh, maybe Batman. No, I don't think that's happened yet.
So Batman's still on the old consoles.
Probably, I think.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, so they're still. Yeah, I wonder how they still must run.
Well, what was the first game that came out on the new consoles?
Game of Thrones.
Hang
on, is Game of Thrones before Borderlands? I feel like
I know Walking Dead was like the first one. I think it might have been Walking Dead.
Season 2?
Season 1. Well, I've got Season 1 Walking Dead on my Xbox One.
Yeah.
Is that just a...
They could just port it. Yeah. I don't know.
Oh, it doesn't say... On my games list, it doesn't say Xbox 360. It's like an extra Xbox One thing.
Yeah, I don't know. No idea.
Yeah.
I've been interested in the Minecraft one as well. Just because it's got voice actors from the Goonies and stuff like that. And I don't know, it just seems like a real fun kind of one to play.
Yeah.
I don't know. For the next one to play, would you have to already be interested in the source material.
Yeah, I think so. That's why I don't think I'm going to play Batman.
Yeah.
I'm not interested in Batman, and I've seen some gameplay, and it's like I can't be bothered. And I guess with Minecraft as well, I don't think I'd be interested in that either. So, and that's their two newest games, isn't it?
Minecraft and Batman.
Yeah.
I think so.
What's next?
I've heard a rumor. The rumor's been floating around that there's a show called Mr. Robot. Have you ever heard of that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So apparently they're going to do something in that because they posted the video on their social media tied to this evil company that the company exists in the Mr. Robot show.
Well, with Game of Thrones, you had to watch up to season 4 to actually understand what's going on.
Did they tell you that?
No one told me that. But when I was watching the show, I was thinking, if you haven't watched the show, there's lots of spoilers here, and if you haven't watched the show, you won't. Yeah, there's things you wouldn't get. Yeah.
Well, Mr. Robot's only coming into its second season.
That's. I mean, if they do make a Telltale game, then I guess there's only 2 seasons you need to watch. Yeah. So
it's such a. So far, they've been hitting these huge franchises.
Yeah,
Game of Thrones and everything. Mr. Robot, it's new, it's popular, but it's. I don't know. I don't know many people who watch it. In Australia, at least.
Could you think of like your ideal game that you would love to see Telltale do?
Good question.
Simpsons?
No, that'd be way too lighthearted. Maybe Futurama.
Yeah, Futurama would be pretty good.
Futurama has a lot of lighthearted, a lot more heavy moments compared to Simpsons. Yeah.
I would like to see a full-on comedy game. Like, I know Borderlands is funny, but
Have you laughed? Have you found it funny so far?
Some moments.
I found the robot the funniest. What's the robot's name?
Loaderbot.
Loaderbot.
Yeah, he's pretty funny. You know what's surprising? I actually laughed quite a bit in Game of Thrones as well. Yeah. I mean, I suppose that was just because it was so new to me, controlling these characters and having things that they do. I guess I was laughing just because of the things you could do. It was so,
okay.
The novelty, I guess. But Borderlands, it is funny. I guess I'm not really a fan of how they're telling the story as well.
What do you mean?
You know how the two characters in the first 2 episodes at least, they're telling a story.
Oh right. Interesting. That yeah.
Yeah. Don't say anything.
No. Yeah. I kind of like that though. No, I like that.
There's some funny moments. They play it up well. Like when you start to think that's a bit unrealistic, but then he was kind of just playing it on. He was joking.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And they say no, that's not how it happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, I forgot that happens. Man, I'm jealous that you have fresh eyes on this game.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
Just one more thing on Telltale though. I'm kind of like Game of Thrones and Borderlands were made after Walking Dead Season 1 and Wolf Among Us, which I'm also yet to play. So with Wolf Among Us and Walking Dead, I'm scared to go back.
Right, so I've played both Walking Dead. I've gotten halfway through Walking Dead Season 1, and I've played the first episode of Wolf Among Us. And yeah, they you can see they have improved over time, but you know how much. I
remember when I originally played Walking Dead for like 20 minutes or something, and there was a zombie coming at you, and you quickly had to pick up something. It was so finicky to get that thing, whereas in the new games, Game of Thrones and Borderlands, you pretty much just move, and it sort of kind of helps you. It automatically moves onto it for you. Whereas I think the older games, it doesn't automatically do it for you. You have to sort of get it right.
Right, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It helps you out a lot in the new ones, which makes for a more enjoyable gameplay.
Sure. Yeah. I kind of wish I stuck with the first season of Walking Dead, because like I said, I got halfway through, and it's just on my 360, which...
Actually, the next game that they're making is Walking Dead Season 3.
Yeah. Well, they actually made that Michonne series.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they did that as well.
That has to still be going, doesn't it? Like
it must be. Oh, that was only short. That was 3 episodes.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
I'm definitely... I think I'll get Michonne. I will, because I've got Season 1 and 2 of Walking Dead, so I'll play through them and get Michonne. But you'll have to watch the series.
Yeah. Well, do I?
If you had to watch Game of Thrones, then I'm pretty sure you...
I played the first Walking Dead, and I don't know.
Yeah, but until you meet the characters from the show...
Oh, okay.
Maybe you didn't even realise you were meeting characters from the show.
No.
Yeah, you wouldn't have realised.
I was going along with the story. I feel like I was getting along with it fine.
Fair enough.
But like I said, I only got halfway through the first game.
Mm.
Anyway, moving on, I guess.
Yeah, moving on. Just quickly, I'd like to mention that I also got Alien Isolation, so another game that has been on my list for a while. So yeah, it's just weird that I'm not playing any new games, but yeah, Alien Isolation. Like we've spoken about it before. I'm about 2 hours into it. Haven't seen the alien yet, but a lot of tension because you don't know if the alien's right around the corner, and I don't know when he's going to appear. And I suppose the longer you play it, and the longer you don't see the alien, the more the tension rises. Just because, man, it's been so long I haven't seen him. He must be popping up sometime soon. I've seen his shadow once in a light. I'm like, fuck. And then I hid behind a corner and watched that light for about 5 minutes. It's too scared to come out. And I slowly crept forward and turned into that room. But he wasn't there. So I was like, whew.
If you're feeling that now, then
yeah, it's creepy, but yeah.
Yeah, I think I've said before I've played maximum half an hour of it, and it's I appreciate what it's doing, but it's just not for me. Yeah.
All right, let's just wrap it up and get into some NOS shuffle.
Yes.
Okay, so just while I get the number generator up now, I'll just explain what NOS shuffle is for those of you who don't know. So NOS shuffle. How about you explain it while I get this up?
I get to explain it?
Yes.
Well, you're the host. Okay. So, NOS Shuffle is a game I created from my genius brain. Actually, we didn't get to do my segment this week.
Oh, yeah. Do you want to do it now?
Can we just quickly?
All right.
So, the segment we talked about a couple weeks ago was that Did You Know Gaming? We're going to leave that. That's coming. Don't you worry. But
you can have 2 segments, so I don't have to talk as much.
Great.
It was good when you talked for 25 minutes, and I could just sit there and go, yes.
But this topic, this segment, I'll call it From the Water Cooler.
Okay. Are we gonna have a sound effect like a water cooler, like bubbles?
But so generally, I work in an office. And
not the office.
No, unfortunately, every day that goes by and I don't see Kevin.
You've got to be the Kevin. You've got to be the Jim, the Dwight.
Yeah,
you've got to start it.
I think we mentioned this every time. Like someone awkwardly says something to me, I just like look up, like
pretend there's a camera. Yeah,
just be like,
just do the Jim face, like the lips.
Yeah. But essentially, when you work in an office, you work with a whole bunch of, let's call them characters. I hate interacting with these people socially. And you overhear a lot of things, or when you're just talking to them in generally. So the idea of this segment is when I overhear things at work, when people are talking about...
So this is not you talking to people. This is just you eavesdropping.
It mostly will be eavesdropping because I've yet to talk to many people.
Yeah.
But it's either I overhear people talking about pop culture things, gaming, TVs, movies, just generally nerdy things. Because there are a lot of nerds in this office, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah.
So, so the first thing... So, yeah, I eavesdrop on these people, and I think the things they say are ridiculous. Just wrong.
Yeah.
Or stupid. So one of the things was that I feel like I told you this. Anyway, it was probably in my first or second week. These 2 girls were chatting about a game they had seen at E3. And they were like, yeah, so there's this really cool game coming out for PlayStation, and it's like, you make all these decisions, and it's really cool. Like you play as a cyborg, and I just over here, and they're like, yeah, I can't remember that, but I remember watching the trailer for that. It seemed really cool. I'm just like crunching my fist, just like scraping, like, ugh. And then like, yeah, I can't remember the name of it and this and that. So I thought, hey, sorry, I butt in like, hey, no means over here, but were you talking about Detroit? What is that? It was called Detroit.
Yeah, Detroit Become Human.
Become Human.
Yeah.
That's it. Because I was watching the E3 thing too, and they're like, no, that wasn't what it's called, was it? I said, I'm pretty sure it was. You know, the trailer had like you're on the roof. They were on the rooftop and the helicopters, and it was decision making and branching paths and all that. And they're like, yeah, that was it, but I'm sure it wasn't called that. I thought, okay, see ya. I'm out of here. Thanks for your time.
That's ridiculous.
Man, I hate people being so wrong. And there's nothing else I could do in that situation.
No.
Like I said to them, twice I said, no, I'm pretty sure it's that.
It's Detroit, yeah.
And they were being just stubborn and saying, no, it's not that.
Doesn't sound right. From the water cooler.
So that's the first episode of From the Water Cooler.
Wow. Sound effect of people applauding. Do you want that in there?
Sure.
Or just the golf clap, like.
Yeah. Or what's a classic office sound moment?
Just play the whole theme song from The Office.
Yes. Underneath. Or the thing when Jim gets his ringtone as Dwight. It's idiot, idiot, idiot.
Yeah. I probably won't put anything there.
Okay.
So yeah, let's get into Nos Shuffle now. The number that has come up, well, let's just explain it first. You didn't see it, did you?
No.
So Nos Shuffle is where Jake and I have shuffled a list of 100 games that we played as kids. We shuffle that list, and whatever game comes up, we're going to talk about it and head down memory lane.
I don't remember speaking about Pokemon Diamond.
We did. That was episode 5. Pokemon Diamond, Pokemon Pearl.
Okay.
Number 58, which is Lost via Domus. So this might be a short one because we got this. Well, I got this on the PC, and it was shithouse.
Yeah, I never played it, but you did.
It was actually it wasn't shit. I think maybe it was a glitch or something in the game where I was in a cave and I couldn't get through the cave because I don't know. I was playing on PC and I'm shit at playing at PC as well. So that's where it was really shit. But this game also came out on console, and I really sort of wanted to get it on console just so I could play it. But the idea of this game was really good as well because it was sort of like a Telltale thing. It was sort of like you were part of that show, but you were your own character and you were having your own flashbacks and everything of your past life. I didn't get very far at all. But this game came out during the time when the show was so popular.
Yeah.
So it maybe just made sales just because of the show.
Well, we bought it, or someone bought it for us because we liked the show.
Yeah, exactly. And it was really cool to start off as your own character. And when the show was on, I was in high school, and I used to always think of what I would be like on the island. And this game sort of really allowed you to do that, what you'd be like, and you could talk to all the characters from the show on the island and everything, explore the beach, explore inland of the island, and do your own thing.
Could you be best friends with Saeed?
I can't remember. I don't think there was any dialogue choices or anything. You just went up to them and they had their own scripted conversations or something. There was really cool parts of the game where you had to sort of these puzzle kind of experiences where you had to sort of repair things, and it would just the whole screen would just be maybe like the control panel where you'd be moving wires and cutting wires, that kind of thing. So that was a part of the game. There was also some action scenes where you'd be running, but again, that was really shit because I was on a keyboard, so that was made it really tough. From what I remember, the graphics were actually okay for the time. You look at it now, it's probably shithouse.
Essentially, this was just a tie-in cash grab for Lost.
Yeah. And I think if I played it now, it would seem like that, but back then it was really cool to actually be on the island. And that's the whole thing as well, like a big thing with that Game of Thrones Telltale, a big thing about me enjoying it so much is because I got to be in those areas from the show. Same with other games, maybe like, for example, Dragon Ball Z. I love being able to explore the areas where from the show you've never been able to explore yourself before because it's just from a show. Remember your first experience when you played Legacy of Goku? And you got to explore what's outside of Goku's house. Yeah. In the forest. You're like, I've never been down here.
Yeah. West City.
Yeah, in West City. You know, things like that. I think, they're really cool.
I feel like, I know back then, because this game maybe 10 years old now or something.
Well, the show came out in 2004, and probably game came out 2006 maybe. Yeah. I'm sure,
I feel like back in that time, games, there were like default games that came out with big franchise movies, there was always tie-in games with movies, and then sometimes like TV shows as popular as Lost. I just find it weird that Lost was seemed like such an obscure choice to make a video game out of. Whereas now you get different experiences out of movies and TV shows like Telltale, Game of Thrones. But I'm just thinking, like, why Lost? Like, why turn Lost into a third-person action adventure game?
They'll do it with anything.
Yeah.
Anything.
What if they did that for Breaking Bad? What if they...
But see, like, because they haven't done it with Breaking Bad, you could imagine a Breaking Bad game and you could think that would be pretty cool. You'd want to, you'd want an open world game where you leave Walt's house. You want to explore around Walt's neighborhood.
I don't, actually. I really don't.
Wouldn't you want to drive from Walt's house all the way to, the underground lab? Wouldn't you want to do that? Like in a GTA style kind of thing?
I don't think I would, no. That would seem so... That would seem so foreign to me that
it would be exciting. It would be awesome.
No.
That's another game to compare it to would be The Simpsons as well. The first time you got to explore an open world Springfield, you've never been able to do that. You've always just seen it on TV.
Sure. I think what I'm getting at with the Breaking Bad thing is just that the story in that world is so contained that going outside of it seems so... I wouldn't know how to picture it. But for something like The Simpsons, Simpsons break to traditions and breaks canon every second, every episode. Yeah. I don't know what I'm getting at.
Anything that gets popular, there's always a game for it. Like, wasn't there an X-Files game? There was a CSI game.
I remember the CSI game.
An official Saw, the video game,
I feel like CSI was made by Telltale.
Actually, I think it was. Yeah, it was. I looked up...
And it had Lawrence Fishburne in it.
Really?
He's the black guy from Matrix, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to...
He's also in Man of Steel. And it's really funny.
Is he?
Yeah, he's the guy who owns the newspaper business thing. He's in the building. It's also really funny because he's sort of like on the backseat in the Matrix as well, watching Neo, the one, doing fly around and everything. And he's also sort of that same character watching Man of Steel run around doing all the things. Okay. He's always that guy who's just like, I wish I could do that.
Yeah. But he's one of those actors who you can't see outside the Matrix,
Yeah.
You can't see once you've seen him in the Matrix, you can't unsee that character.
Yeah. That's the problem with doing a movie that big.
Yeah.
I mean, with Keanu Reeves, he actually did movies that were really big as well, so you could kind of see him outside of Neo.
Yeah.
He's done Speed, he's done...
I see him as mainly Neo, but also from Bill and Ted.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, Lawrence Fishburne, you can't picture in a comedy. He does...
whenever I see him in movies, I just think of machines! It's just his famous speech,
Oh, that's
best thing about Matrix series was the MTV parody they did.
Yeah,
Sean William Scott and Justin Timberlake
and Jimmy Fallon.
Oh, yeah, and Jimmy Fallon was in it. Yeah, oh, that was sick.
God, that's awesome.
Bring back those MTV spin-offs. I remember they did one for Star Wars Episode 3 as well.
That was one of my favorites too.
Yeah.
Jimmy Fallon also in that one as well.
Yeah,
yeah, I watched that so much actually. It's just so well put together.
Yeah, it was so mind-blowing the way that they did that. It was like they were in the movie. Oh, yeah. So good. Just the best bit, the Will Ferrell scene. How Neo, he's just... You don't realise until you get in that scene, Neo's so fucking just serious and one-worded. Just like... and he's always asking questions like, why?
Yeah.
What for? Oh... So good.
Can we watch it right now? Let's end this and watch it right now. At least the Will Ferrell part. That's so the best.
Good. So good.
All right. Cool.
Yeah, let's end it there. Back to our original 1 hour and 30 minutes. We've kept it good.
Yep.
And we will probably do a catch-up episode when we do a review of Metroid Prime as well.
1 week.
1 week away, yeah. I mean, I'm excited. Reviews will probably start to come out maybe in 5-6 days as well.
I'm interested. Like we kept saying, I can't wait for like you said, it's even starting to happen with Blast Ball. People who had shitty reviews and now they're just flipping it. Man, that feels so good.
Do you think, like, I know reviewers are supposed to be very professional and everything, but do you think they'll take into consideration about all the shit that this game's been given? You know, inside their reviews, it's either written or vocal, they'll mention something of something about what has happened.
Bad reviewers will... Yes.
Yeah.
And when I say bad reviewers, I mean IGN, GameSpot, the top ones who appeal to everyone.
Yeah.
Always have to bring up stuff like cultural trends like that.
Yeah.
Because they'll either start their review with like, this game has been panned so bad.
Yeah.
But it's actually pretty good.
You just need to ignore it and just.
I want to count in these reviews, IGN and whatever. I want to count how many times they say actually.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. We need to have a tally of that. It's going to be interesting. Anything. Yeah. I don't know. I can't sort of say a review score or anything. I can't get angry at review scores because we haven't played it as well. So I mean, you know, never know. We could think it's shit, but we're just angry because no one's played it and everyone's saying it's shit. That's all.
Yeah, I'm really excited for it.
Yeah,
and then we'll go to the store together and buy it.
Let's do that.
Yes.
Who's driving?
Oh God, I don't know. Me, I guess. Why does it matter?
Are you taking me out for lunch?
I'll go for lunch. Grab some lunch.
And Jake, any last words?
Pickles.